So, here's something weird. That every time there's a fucking party here, it's like a huge demon trip. And when I drink coffee with my medication, it's like a bad reaction. I don't know why. Probably because I'm on a higher dose now. I remember this used to happen when I took this kind of dose before. It gets really bad. I can't drink more than like 1 cup. But I had like 2. So I don't know why the parties make everything suck so bad. I'd assume they're just out there saying like whack evil shit all the time, which can make people go crazy, I guess. I don't say stuff like that generally. Even on my videos, I usually don't. Like, I'm not listening or paying attention to what's going on in the party, but it still fucks everyone up. It's like the Twilight Zone. Except it's always not real, basically. So but yeah, it's like painful. Every time I go to the doctors, I was like, there's nothing wrong with you. So I know it's like a psychological thing, but it sucks. It's painful. Anyway, I'm going for a walk just because I felt like making a video since this night is horrible. But I mean, every time I have a little bit of coffee, it's like they're all trying to suck my brains out. I know it's probably got something to do with the 2 older ladies who live at the house. And my roommate kinda, yeah, I have a room with one other person who's totally like upset about absolutely everything that happens there. I'm the only one who doesn't piss him off. But he still helps them because he's the kind of guy like do it just like it's like he doesn't realize what he's doing. He would just do that kind of thing on impulse like most people do when they get like some little sense of something. But it helps him fucking like eat my brain over these cups of coffee, which is like ridiculous because I don't really want to drink that much, but it's really addicting. And so I have some like every day, and I'm still trying to figure out how much I can take without having a full-blown like trip while I'm on the medicine, because they react so poorly together that it's like crazy. It's like smoking laced pot, but like straight up doing hard drugs almost. Like it sucks, man. But like it's a bad kind of high, or Because, like, my mental attitude makes me so down to earth while it's happening. Like, I think most people would be freaking out. But, yeah. I've got this weird symptom where someone will yell or say something, and I'll hear them talking to me about it, or, like, their voice will continue in the wrong place that they're not at. And just for a little while, it's like I don't want that to happen because I'm trying to stay out of these stupid situations. Another thing I noticed is that if I just have a little bit of weed, they don't drive me crazy as much. It's like they really want me to get stoned with them. Well, just a little bit. Because once you've done enough weed and had enough schizophrenic ass trips, it's like you'll feel what you think people's opinions are. It'll get like way worse, or like they'll really affect you. And if people think you're like not as good as them, you know, they'll like always be sucking out your brains. The more tripped out or high you are, the more there'll be like crazy shit on your ass and your mind because of what you think they're thinking, even on a really subtle level. So it's like really stupid, and you shouldn't do that many drugs. I mean, everything goes back to normal if you don't do anything that's gonna make you like crazier, like a bunch of drugs or something. So I'm probably gonna stop drinking more coffee than like just one cup, at least while I'm on this study, because I don't know, maybe I'll tell the doctor that at the research place. That might be useful. Drinking too much coffee while you're on this dose will drive you up the wall. Be like a screaming fiend. So you can tell when your mind is like on balance, you know? Basically, you could tell right from wrong and everything, but getting a bunch of people together who smoke probably more, like as much weed as me, and been around so many psychosis trips and stuff, heard too many crazy things, you know, it's like they're gonna trip out and think about what's right and wrong, and it's probably not like really wrong, but they're gonna, like, their minds are gonna affect yours or mine if you smoke as much, do these many drugs and everything. And you know, I like coffee. If I just have a little bit, it's nice. But if I have way too much, like more than a little, it goes crazy. My medicine and stuff. So it's weird. It's like, what's up? Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to get internet hooked up, but I owe money to the freaking cable company because at the time I got thrown out of my apartment. So it wasn't because I was doing anything wrong. It was just because someone else was on the lease and they bought out of the lease, and I couldn't keep the lease on my own because I don't make enough money. So, I had to leave. So I had to sell all the stuff I had. I lost like everything I had. And it got to the point where I pretty much just had a bag of clothes and like a phone, maybe a Game Boy if I was lucky or something. And everything else will get lost. And then I got sent to jail, and the landlord threw the guy I was living with out of his house, and he was disabled, so he couldn't like move the stuff with him. He just made him leave, so that guy lost like all of his stuff, and so did I. Now, most of the stuff I have, I lose in like a few months because I can't carry it with me when I'm on the street all the time and stuff. But I'm trying to change that. That's why I'm trying to stay here. But this is like a horrible trip every time something happens. Like I drink too much coffee while I'm on these medicine, and I have a bad reaction. So it's hard. And they want me to smoke weed with them, I guess, is what I would think. But, I mean, I'm kind of over weed. All it does is distract me from all the fun stuff, because I'm too fucking just high, and things just, when you're high, just randomly feel like 2,000% dumber than they do when you're not high. So I'll be doing what I would usually do, but if I get high, I'll be like, I don't want to do this, and I realize I don't really have that much else to do, so it's like really lame. But I've got all these dumb voices, dumb experiences. Every day I make a little more sense of what's going on in my mind, but that's mostly because I'm like suffering. Maybe I know a little more every day, right? If I'm lucky. I have sudden breakthroughs all the time, and I always hear my sister just screaming at me when it's like end of the line. Like, if I think about my family or try to talk to them, it's such a weird, like, fascism-mility, hateful, like, neo-Nazi shit that they do and that I hear. So it's like, I want to rebuild my relationship with my family, but every time I do, it's like a big setup to just make me feel like shit and piss me off, so they'll just treat me unfairly. It's like I'll get pissed off at something that's reasonable, and they'll just stagnantly, like, straight-faced empty fucking expression. They'll just pretend they don't understand why I'm angry and that it doesn't matter why I'm angry, and just be mad that I'm angry. So I don't know. I don't care much for a lot of people, but that's only sometimes, because I'll be talking to someone and at face value, if everything's like real life actually is, they're fine generally. But then there's all the people who just are like, is this real life all the time? So I'll be talking to people who are like, you know, my friend outwardly, but then I'm thinking, or like in my mind, it's like they're trying to just destroy me. That's what I feel like, or what I like basically mentally like almost experience. So like people are always criticizing me in my mind. You know, if someone sees you walking down the street talking on the camera, they'll put their 2 cents in, and if I'd be fine in almost whatever I do if it weren't for other people's opinions just affecting my mind so much. It's like God doesn't care, so when they hear me not talking about, oh, it's all evil and misery, they're like, oh, you have no faith in God. And that is like the hardest thing to just deal with, is when someone just thinks that, basically. Or when you think someone thinks that. It sucks, man. So I kind of can't do what the voice that everyone thinks I'm supposed to listen to now wants me to do, because of like laws and shit and funds and everything. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I mean, what the voice everyone thinks I'm supposed to be listening to wants me to do is like impossible. Anyway, I was gonna cross the street over there, but there was a guy standing there, and I was, you know, I don't like walking up to some unsuspecting dude and like tripping him out with what's going on in my life. So, like, there's different people in this world, you know? Some people hear what I said before, seem to know about it somehow in my mind, and they want to trip out because they think I'm, like, evil because of what I thought I was doing and the voice I was listening to. Well, like everyone almost would think I was evil, because some people don't like what the voice wanted me to do, and some people hated me because they don't believe it, and they think I'm just a bastard and want to kill me or something, because what I said I was. Because if you said that in real life, and like it wasn't true, that could make you a lot of bad stuff, and people wouldn't like you. But then there's the people who are like, well, you should have listened to him and stuff, and no one talks to me for real anymore. It's like, I'll hear people getting on about it, but as soon as I walk up, they don't talk about it anymore, and they avoid the subject when it's with me. And that's like everyone I've ever known would do this. It was like, and then if they have a way that I could doubt what I'm hearing, they might say it passingly or something, which is like, what the hell? So all these people are just fucking with me. Supposedly I had a job to do that I can't really get done at all. And either way, everyone hates me. But the worst problem is not the giant voice in the sky, because the giant voice in the sky understands. The people around me are the ones who don't. And the other voices that are typical ones that would just be evil, they want to hate me either way. So it's like, I know really I'm pretty much alright, but no one wants to accept that. It's like no one wants to accept that God is forgiving and that He's not, that He's so forgiving. No one wants to accept it. It's like I failed at what I was supposed to do and I can't really get it done, and everyone's telling me that I'm just fuck up number uno and that I deserve just nothing but pain. When the voice in the sky who told me to do this stuff was like, he's the one who pretty much gives me a break. But they are saying they're taking his side and hating me for it, when the whole reason I was supposed to go to, I don't even understand. And like, the only idea I have of why I should do it is pretty much just because of things they're doing that they could stop. But this whole thing is so just crazy that it's ironic, yeah, and also it's really like bad. It's disgusting that this society is like this, like those people over there. So I'm probably gonna go back to my room, but I gotta use the restroom because I'm on a caffeine rush with bad interactions with my medicine and crazy things happening in my neighborhood, I guess. But I'm pretty much out of luck. So this is pretty much my lucky break. I've got a place that's mostly stable. If pretty much I don't get too high or drink too much coffee. Other than that, it's mostly fine. If I would stop drinking coffee, I don't know, it's like I kind of have like dementia from dealing with this stuff. I'm probably smoking too much weed and all that stuff. But people, I just forget that I'm supposed to stay off coffee and all the bad things it does, because in one moment it would seem nice. And then sometimes I expect that nobody's going to freak out like they do in my head. So I have another cup, and then they do. So the problem is the reactions make it so everyone's on like a mind control trip. And I don't like that. That's what they said, is that Friday night I was supposed to be out of there, but I don't get paid, or Friday morning I think. I don't get paid until Friday morning, and I don't get paid enough on that day to go where I'm supposed to go. If I go out in the desert, I don't know what's going to happen. It would take like 10 days to just walk there, and I'm too trippy and bipolar to just be, you know, from the clouds, man, and just not eat or drink water. Now, the problem with this, I think, was that every time I had my mind set in motion, all the voices would change and be different. They'd tell me different things and confuse me and yada yada yada. When there's so many different ways to look at this, that it's like even the voices can't just choose one to be how it is. I don't know how I'm supposed to stick to one thing when one way you could look at it, if I listen to the voice, I'm somehow something I know I'm probably not even close to. And the other way to look at it is, as soon as I listen to their voice, I'm like committing heresy and all this stuff, you know. So, and the voices themselves switch between all those different views. So, it's like, what do I do? And I listened to the voice enough times, it did what it was telling me to do, enough to learn it has a big secret, and that it just likes making people question their sanity. It's like, that's why he tells me to do all this stuff, mostly, I guess. So, what I know, I mean, I could tell people, but it's like this brainwashing trip is like, don't be helpful to anyone, just be evil. It's like, I don't know why you want that. Right? It's like, I know well why the ways of the evil people who are doing this to me when I drink coffee and stuff, I know why it's a bad idea for them. I know the people who hate me are all, it's a bad idea. And I know that they get punished in this whole trip just like I do if I do something bad. And all their crazy weirdness trying to keep doing it, I mean, is way wrong and dumb, generally. Like, they want to, like, control what you do and influence your actions so much and expect you to be like, you know, the one who's fucked in the end, when really they're fucked like every day, I can tell. It's like, I don't even do a whole lot or anything that's really evil. In fact, the worst thing I think I've done is just make stupid videos and probably do almost the same stuff except way, you know, it's like, I don't know, maybe I should just keep not drinking coffee and then this won't happen anymore. Because there were times where I'd be on a lower dose of the medicine and like I'd drink way too much coffee because I was actually like had that much coffee available, and it would still fucking kind of trip me out, but not as much as the medicine does when it's in a higher dose. Because I could drink 1 cup of coffee and almost trip out, whereas before I'd have like 6 or 5 cups of coffee and I wouldn't trip out as much as I do when I drink 1 cup with this dose. So, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, people are acting like I don't care about the whole situation, which I do. It's torn me apart for a long time, and I don't really know what it would be like to have peace of mind, because I've never really felt like I could say, oh, now I finally have peace of mind, except for a few short moments, and it only happened a few times. So it's like it's been a struggle, and I mean, I didn't realize how, like, just straight up tearing me apart it was, except a couple times, and I don't even remember that generally. So during the day, I realize I always feel like I'm happy, generally, almost always, but it's so much different from other people, I think. It's like I never have peace or just simple concentration.